Yeah. I've been down, but I'm coming back now. I was lost in the night, tried to hide what I felt inside. Every step was heavy, every breath was fire, but I kept on moving, never lost desire.
I want to talk today about a few different things, but start out with the sun going from level basically 1 through 10 to all of a sudden level 12. Let's break new ground. Let's just show you what I can really do kind of level. Again, Arizona is hot. It always is. But over the last few years, as everybody's talking about global warming and this and that, I've always clearly seen it as a reorientation of the Earth in relation to the old meridian and, the vertical plane and the meridian lane. They are definitely not where they used to be. Things are moving as far as the Earth's orientation in relation to the sun. That's the true cause of all the temperature changes around the world. Things just aren't sitting on the lines that they used to be. The proof is that they've had to change the latitude and longitudes on runways. There's a constant renumbering and realigning of satellites, and coordinates are changing constantly because the Earth's positions are changing in relation to the sun. Lat and longe is moving because the poles are shifting. That aside, the sun is overacting. It's giving the energetic downloads into the Earth and into us that causes headaches and mood swings and hyper downloads, light codes being imbued into those who are open and ready to receive, and being burning away some other essences in all of us, and some of us to more extreme extents. I bring this up because it to me keeps bringing up this idea of polarity. We live in this world where we're always told everything's so binary, right? We've got up and down, left and right, and north and south, and east and west, and black and white. We've got the opposite of red and green, which I say red and green because when you close your eyes and look at the sun, you see red. And then when you open your eyes, you see green. It seems an automatic opposite to me. Whenever you stare at purple too long and you open your eyes, you see yellow. So yellow and purple are obviously opposing each other. You've got east and west, up and down, forward and back. You've got anything in between that you can imagine between the day and the night that tells us in our waking world that everything is polarized and everything operates on these binary rules and laws, right? But I've had a lot of time thinking about how non-binary things truly are in the real essence of being, and there are more opposites than one versus the other. There are opposites in the field of you can have more than two ways to oppose something. And it's complicated to see that until you can see that. So that's why I'm drawing it out using the handy dandy I Ching, because I Ching basically just represents lines basically that are showing energetic code in a sense, in a way that I think a lot of other things don't really show anything other than the two different opposites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show this drawing basically that shows the equal opposites of things in a way that illustrates very clearly that there's more than one way to look at things other than black, white, up, down, east, west, north, south. So I've got opposites. I drew some opposites here. This is clearly just inverted, the opposite. But then we've got a representation of a polar opposite where the two solid lines are broken and the broken lines are all solid, right? So that is the opposite of this, but this is the inverted opposite. So equal opposite, inverted opposite, but then we have also a absolute opposite where this is showing these four lines in the opposite position in the positive, and then the negatives would be the positives inverted. And you can even furthermore go to the same stance in that this is the opposite of that. You can draw the opposite of it. But just in this one symbol, there are truly three different opposing energies to the one. This is opposite of this, but it's also opposite of this and opposite of that in different respects. And what that shows is whenever you're looking at things in a binary way, you're also looking at things in a overly reductive way. You're reducing things to a sense that disempowers you yourself. It lessens your options. It lessens the field of opportunity. It lessens the field of vision. And this is where I'm always talking about capacity and magic. How there is no such thing as being a manifester and creating in this world, manifesting, bringing about what is real in the world through will and intent is always first achieved by focus and clarity. You have to clearly understand what it is that you're looking to achieve, and in that looking to achieve a certain outcome, you have to also have the focus to allow it to be manifested through seeing it long enough for it to reflect in the field itself. Anything that you expect and focus on for long periods of time that reflects a true self-desire will eventually come to pass. Your expectations become your reality. And with that thought of maintaining your expectations and focus intentionally, you're able to willfully manifest your fate. Now, we lack discipline in most of us to hold steadfast long enough to actually achieve this in the real world. But before any of this is possible, there is the problem of capacitance. So I've talked about this in expansion of the hypothalamus, the fornix, the areas of the mind where the seat of the soul resides, where your spark and your consciousness connects with your body in a conscious way, in a ambulatory control sense. I mean, the perception happens in your field. The feelings and connections to others happens in your heart, but the control of your body happens from the seat of the soul and the mind. And from that place, you can gain capacitance. That is growing the vessel that is your energetic part of you. Whenever I'm training people or talking to people about learning new strategies, new tactics, new concepts, whether it be philosophical or practical knowledge, information, there's this whole thing about judging whether you are wasting your time or not in what you're teaching someone. Is it actually going to stick? And that is an issue of capacitance, right? So I always say there's no point in filling a full cup. It just overflows onto the floor and you've wasted all your efforts. So I'm always trying to judge a person's capacitance. Can they hold what it is that I am trying to impart? Do they have enough room in their cup? Or do we first need to grow the vessel larger to hold more? Or can they do it themselves? Can they pour their own cup out to pour more in? Can they grow their cup? There's ways to do it. You can empty the vessel, which is the way the military and I want to say secret societies and a lot of these things, they're more about tear down, build back up, right? Pour out the vessel and then pour back in, empty the cup to fill the cup. And I'm more coming at it from a sense of grow the vessel. So through imagination, this is a very first stage lesson of magic. Is the first stage is imagination. That's why reading is good. That's why dreaming is good. That's why using your active imagination is very powerful, because that part of you is where you manifest from. It's from your imagination. It's from your dreams. That's where reality is born. That's where the seeds are sown and come to life. Is that place of the fertile earth is the dream world. And it is the imagination realm that first consciousness test drives things and then brings them into reality from there. But from that place, you start out with your preemptive thoughts. And to grow that capacity, it requires the imagination. So growing the fornix portion of the mind, the hypothalamus part of the mind, activating the pineal gland, activating. It is a focus, it is a will, it is a vibration, it is a intention. It's something about you imagining it so it becomes so. You have to, in a sense, imagine that part of your mind expanding and growing and reaching outside of your own physical self and reaching into the air around you and becoming part of your energetic field. It growing to a capacitance outside of your physical self so it can reach outward into the air. That being said, growing capacitance, expanding capacity for the vessel to harness more energy, to reach out into the field and touch others' energy, to touch other energetic fields, to commingle with larger bands and spectrums of energy that normally would not be able to be perceived due to lack of capacitance. If you have too small of a wire, you can't run enough electricity to power certain things. If you have too small of a water pipe, you can't run enough water to cool certain things or to provide water for certain things, right? It becomes the size of the pipe, size of the wire, a gauge issue. And it's the same thing with energy, with consciousness, with practical usage and gaining ability to know and manifest in a magical way, in a manifester's way. So, that being said, the polarity, the binary essence that we are taught over and over is the way of the world, is a crutch, it's a limiter, it's a governor, it's something that keeps you in your lane of simplicity. It's a glass ceiling where as long as you stay within your lane, you can never break free of the city's limits. You know, there's a whole world out there, but if your car lacks a large enough gas tank, you'll never be able to get outside of the city limits and get to point B. You'll be stuck in point A, right? So, for those who know and understand, something as simple as this: non-binary opposites, different polar differences and oppositions energetically that are equally opposite in different ways to each other than black, white, up, down, north, south, hot, cold, red, blue. All of these ridiculous one or the other options that we're taught to work within. Our entire language, our entire thought process, our entire teachings are based on left or right, good or bad, hot or cold, yes or no, true or false. And I'm like, purposeful, random, indifferent. There's always a third or fourth or sometimes a fifth option to most things. And only when you are in your lane and running very, very quickly towards left, right, hot, cold, do you never take the time to see that there's a middle ground. There's a place where there's something else that is true. But if you don't stick around long enough to see it, then to you, it never truly exists.
Now I hear it calling, feel the pressure